What is going on, guys? It's Adam, aka Marv. Tonight's show is loaded with crazy stories, including birds dropping from the sky. Almost biblical if you ask me, but we'll get to that later. We'll be right back right after this. Almost choked on my news there. Well, what is going on, guys? Adam, aka Marf here, and this is Marfoogle News. Before we get started, I just have to do my disclaimer. Of course, we're going to be talking about some serious issues here. So remember, nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that being said, you can also get notifications, push notifications from our website, marfooglenews.com. If you're not getting notified by YouTube or DLive for any reason, if that's an update or a downgrade or whatever the heck they're doing, you can actually get it from us, again, at marfooglenews.com. Just click that red bell. Remember to subscribe to our other channel, Marfoogle News, the main channel with 161,000 subscribers. And then, of course, get your email alerts. We have big creators who are going to be writing articles for us. Jacob Israel is probably going to be the next one. He's going to be writing an article about all sorts of cool stuff, so make sure to get in on that. And then, of course, we have our website, which backs up every single article, every single tweet, every single video that we have here today. You can actually access on our very easy website to navigate. You actually look for the thumbnail of today's show, and you will see that we have every single article, every single tweet, every video there for your liking. In fact, you can grab a second device and actually read along. It's actually really cool that we have this. Again, this is done every single show before the show airs. And then, of course, this is updated during the show live. So if there's a breaking story, don't worry. You don't have to switch between us and FNN, fake news networks, and we'll actually upgrade it right here. And then at the very end, the caller info will all be here as well. It's updated live. If there's a caller with a YouTube channel or a document or a video that they just got of a UFO above their house, it will be here on the website. Now, if you want to support us, you can actually go over to the right side of the page here. You've got all of our different sponsors, NordVPN, EMP, Earthing, anything that you may want to get, you can get it all there by clicking one of those big boxes. With that out of the way, let's introduce Dex, and then we're going to get straight into the news. We have so much to cover and so little time. Dex, are you there, and can we do a sound check?
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle fam.
Obviously, a lot is going on right now, as always, and we're going to be going over some really weird stories today, especially as far as birds dropping out of the sky. Anytime this happens, there's usually something going on. It's just kind of funny that we have all of these weird, we've got all these weird events going on the West Coast. The air is so bad, but that's not where they're doing it. It's over by where they've got a lot of these funky radar things. It's just kind of funky that way. But these birds are just dropping like flies. So we'll talk about that later and show you what we're talking about. Without further ado, let's get into the news. Speaking of choking air from Western fires, it just won't ease up. It is really bad. Here, we were looking at the microns or however they measure it, and it goes in a system where it's, healthy, great, whatever, very, it's unhealthy, then very unhealthy, and then extremely unhealthy, and then like, hey, you're dying, and it has been like you're dying for like a week. And it says that it won't even clear up until Thursday. If you look outside on the West Coast, you guys in the East Coast, it's kind of like if you visited LA on the smoggiest day ever. That's what it looks like every single day, and not just above the sky, at ground level. If you walk down a street, you can see the trees, and say there will be 3 trees in a row. By the second tree, that tree will be gray, and by the third tree, it will be almost invisible. That's how bad the smoke is. Your line of sight visibility is less than a mile in some areas, and then a couple of days ago, you're talking about 10 or 15 feet. That's how bad it was. It was causing accidents because people were going 60 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden, all the cars are stopped, and they couldn't even see it. Which gives you kind of an idea. If they don't have 4 car distances to stop, then that's really heavy smoke. It says, relief from putrid, dangerous air spewing from massive wildfire across the West won't come until later in the week or beyond. Scientists and forecasters say that the hazy and gunk-filled skies might stick around for even longer. It says people in Oregon, Washington, and parts of California were struggling under acrid yellowish-green smog, the worst, most unhealthy on the air on the planet. It says, according to some measurements, it seeped into homes and businesses, sneaked into cars through air conditioning vents, and caused the closure of iconic locations such as Powell's Books and Oregon Zoo in Portland, the state's biggest city. It says, I don't think that we should be outside, but at the same time, we've been cooped up in the house already for months, so it's kind of hard to dictate what's good and what's bad. I mean, we shouldn't be outside, period, said Isa Ubidia Luckett, a Portland resident who was grabbing lunch on Monday. So I partly agree with her, and my wife has been looking at this thing like it's like it's the temperature. Every 10 minutes she's like, it's gotten worse, it's gotten better. It's never gotten below 200, where that level of the red, very unhealthy, to the super purple, super bad. For the last 3 or 4 days, it's just been in hazardous. Like straight up the worst. After that, they don't measure. They just stop. After that, it's like, you shouldn't be outside. You shouldn't be breathing this crap in. Not to mention all of the things that are burning this. Think about this. All of the houses and all of the building materials that are burning and putting those chemicals up in the air. Think about the older houses with asbestos and things that are all getting burnt, and all of that gunk is being put up in the air. This is going to have lasting effects even after we control and contain the fires, which in a lot of people's opinions are being fueled by something. And nobody knows. They say it's change of the world, that the weather is slowly changing because of man-made actions. What do you think? I would love to hear it in the chat below. Thank you again, N95 Hero, for being the last one out last night. I really do appreciate that. N95 Hero for being here several times this week and really contributing towards the stream, so thank you. Johnny Doom, we've got Trisha Ann, Brando54, we've got Stefan Rankin, lots of new names, Victoria Laidlaw, Jabbers Justice, T. Baxter, Ruth McCool. That's an awesome name. Jimmy the Lip is here tonight. Great creator, a YouTuber. He is now visiting us. 11 Pagan 11, Twisted Luck Truth. Great caller, Bella. We've got Starseer, and then No Decane, and then Ordinary Every Day, Wayne Tremolity, and then Buggin'. All you guys, thank you guys for showing up. What is the air like by you? Do you have some awesome pictures that you want to show us? Did you take an artistic, a beautiful, amazing shot of the sun? Because now you can just look right at it, which I don't recommend as well. Again, it's weird. It looks like the moon when you look up in the sky. If you do, send it to us at either dex@marfooglenews.com or adam@marfooglenews.com. Or you can simply go follow me over on Twitter at Marfoogle. It's very easy to get to my account. We're almost closing in on 20,000 followers, so thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right, getting into the next story. Remember, if you guys have pictures, send it to us. More weather news as far as Hurricane Sally, warning issued for Alabama, potentially, quote, historic flooding possible. Now, some of the things about this, and again, a lot of this stuff, they pump up these storms like they are going to be the end of the world kind of storms. Those are the storms that usually fizzle out for some reason. You'll have the governor saying that this is going to be the worst thing ever, and then all of a sudden it's not. In these cases, some of these are being quietly, getting stronger and stronger, and they don't talk about. As far as Sally, it does look like it is going to cause a ton of flooding. We actually look, that is one thing that they can kind of confirm even if it doesn't get to the worst level of hurricane, it can push a lot of water in. So from some of our meteorologists that actually watch the show, they said that the one thing that we should really be warning the Foogle family about is flooding and possibly setting up barriers around your home, sandbagging if you can possibly do that. Again, we'll be following the situation. If you guys want to go into this and actually look at some more of the information, it will be available at marfooglenews.com. We want everybody here to be safe. It says it's Hurricane Sally now, and it's got a lot stronger. The National Hurricane Center announced around 11:30 a.m. Monday that reconnaissance aircraft had found Sally had intensified to a Category 1 hurricane with winds of 90 miles per hour, a big jump from its 65 miles per hour winds earlier this morning. So to jump 30 miles in gusts, that's it's not to emergency status now, but they say the pattern of how quickly it went from 60 to 90 is what they're looking at. It says Sally's center has also continued to shift, and so has its forecast track, and hurricane warning has now been issued for the Alabama coast. Hurricane conditions will be possible there by late Tuesday. So again, that will be by basically tonight. And again, you can go over there and follow that on marfooglenews.com. We've got all the appropriate links for you. Now, this is a story that, we're going to tell you the exact, what's being said here, but what we also think about this. Now, Dex, I'm probably going to pull you in here for a second, too, to get your opinion on this. It says Judd Apatow says Hollywood is censoring films to appease China by, quote, shutting down critical content. And this is, in the sense, a couple of years ago, we saw the movie, The Interview, Seth Rogen film about NK. They actually did not release it in theaters because of threats from NK. This is more subtle. China doesn't just say, hey, you can't put out a movie or a video or a documentary talking crap about us. If you do, some things happen in the background. So I think that part of that is kind of what is happening here. It says Hollywood is censoring films in order to avoid angering China and SA, director Judd Apatow says. It says the filmmaker behind hits like The 40-Year-Old Virgin and The King of Staten Island says he has noticed that studios won't take on sensitive subjects if it means being denied access to lucrative markets abroad where human rights abuses are rampant. Where would that be? Of course, you guys know it starts with a C and ends with a Heine. Apatow told MSNBC that he is worried about a corporate type of censorship that people don't really notice. It says which a lot of these giant corporate entities have business with countries around the world, SA included. And I'll just zoom in on that so you guys know who I'm talking about. This is a big one. You know who your enemies are, the ones that you can't talk about. Or China. And it says, and they're just not going to criticize them, and they're not going to let their shows criticize them, or they're not going to let air documentaries that go deep into truthful areas because they make so much money. So with some of the stuff, there's projects coming out right now that go over the absolute fact. In fact, we'll get into it here in a second. There was a woman who was on Carlson last night, and it absolutely blew. I think it was last night. Was it not, Dex, or was it the night before?
Oh, no, it's tonight. It was tonight earlier.
Okay, so it was actually just today, and people's minds were blown by what this woman said. We are actually surprised that she is still alive. Like, that's the kind of stuff that she said. She put it on the table that quite possibly that this country not only made it, but possibly intentionally released it, if you guys know what I mean. And there's a documentary that is also working on the sidelines. It could not get any airing time. So this is exactly what Judd Apatow is saying. Dex, what do you think about them censoring, Hollywood censoring stuff coming out like this?
I looked at this as just another example of the conflict that we've been talking about. Like when you go back to the cold conflict, it happens in lots of different ways, right? And this is just one more form of how a country, a superpower, is trying to influence their adversary and do what it is that they want in their country. So when you see them influencing and buying multiple movie studios, and then putting in requirements and restrictions and changing out or completely removing even parts of history from a movie because it may put their country in a bad light. That type of censorship is obviously being programmed from, an adversarial point of view, in my opinion.
And again, his next comment here, it says, he added that it is much scarier is how they have just completely shut down critical content about human rights abuses in that country. So obviously we know that there's a lot of stuff going on. We've even had official sources saying that they're taking prisoners and actually taking parts out of these prisoners. And some of these prisoners may have done something very, very small to what they got, deserved, as far as like, hey, you don't need that liver or you don't need that kidney. The state of China does. What do you guys think? Do you think that they are purposely doing it to censor? Again, remember, you guys can call in 2244-00-MARF. The number is scrolling on the black line right here. Remember, MARF stands for 6273. Again, that's 2244-00-MARF. You're going to want to press option 4 when you get to the phone tree. Dex, I'm going to go over to the screener here. It looks like we have Kishara. And Kishara, you've been here for a while, but apparently it's your first time call. Let's see here. Kishara, if you want to let yourself in, we can do that now. Calling from Colorado. And then just to go over real quick, thank you, N95, Hero, Renegade PD, and others. Thank you. Kishara, what's going on?
Hi, it's nice to finally call in and talk to you guys.
Well, it's nice to have you. So what is going on?
In light of all the latest UFO activity and the increase that we've had specifically this year, I decided to call in and introduce myself. I am a contactee and a former Projects asset.
And by Projects asset, you mean?
I mean, along the lines of MK Ultra.
Okay, you go on. We're all listening.
Okay. I wrote down a few things so I would not get flustered. I get a little nervous.
No, that's great.
I have been. Sorry, I'm also listening for the delay to make sure I don't overstep you. I have been on Foogle family for 2 years and Discord, and I actually joined as this all started 2 years ago. I started getting direct contact from very specific species and had spent most of my life with large gaps of time in my memory. I mean, large gaps along the lines of years. I don't remember the 80s. I don't remember from like 7.5 to 9. And as these memories started coming back, this is when all my training memories came back from the project I was involved with. So, and this is the part where we get flustered. One of the things I did want to bring up and point out that no one has talked about is in regards to the Illumidonkey. And I realize everyone's watching these Red Shoe Diaries things that are going on. Yeah, that's not good. I agree with that. But have you guys noticed that these people are looking for the return of their own savior? And I know they talk about, from a biblical aspect, but if you look at it from their aspect, they're literally going around digging up, not sarcophagus, stasis chambers, looking for the return of their king, their sovereign. Now, keep in mind, they are a matriarchal society, and their current stewardess is in England. Just something to consider.
Now, can you explain a little bit more into the stasis chambers and what group is doing this? You're talking about the Illumidonkey, of course, and then...
Yes.
And
they did uncover... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, can you go deeper into that? I just want to make sure people know we're on the same page.
I do believe it was in Turkey. They uncovered 3 stasis chambers. One was dead. This was well covered and kind of flexed a bit as a mummy or something to that effect, where they found one of the stasis chambers, two of them actually were working quite well. One had a female, one had a male. We're talking about individuals in these chambers who are 12 feet tall, red beard, gold everywhere, jewelry, belts, everything. And some of it was Egyptian looking and some of it was Sumerian looking. They're trying to find the return of Enki.
Can I ask, how do you spell Inky? I would like to pull up the meaning of Inky.
Oh, sure. Enki in itself is a title, capital E-N, period, capital K-I. The individual's name is Ea, so you would spell it capital E-A, Enki, E-A.
Okay, good. I just want to show some reference to kind of what you were talking about. My mom was into hieroglyphs and things like this, and she studied these. Actually, she could pretty much read hieroglyphs, which was something that, who does? Unless you're going to school and you're an archaeologist or something. But I found it extremely interesting as far as all of the things that have kind of come to light over the last 10 years in discoveries. I don't think a lot of people understand that, one, I bet you that if you talk to somebody or most of your friends, they're going to say, oh, this person's crazy. But they also haven't done research into actual events where they did MK, ultra projects, and they actually, the CIA, for example, giving somebody doses of acid for months and months and months, and then having them do missions where they thought they were somebody else. Mind control, brainwashing, all of this was real and now declassified, 40, 50 years ago. Now what are we doing with technology? I mean, think about it. The project that I was involved in was declassified, I believe, in 1984, and it was referred to as Project Stargate. That is scary sounding. Well,
it actually, I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep an eye on the time, but I promise it was not as bad as it sounds. I was never abused. I mean, I was trained, and training was difficult, but training's not supposed to be easy. If it was, well, you'd suck. So, yes, I went through rigorous training, but I do not feel victimized. I don't think I was abused. I don't feel I was abused. Honestly, it leaves this, the way Stargate did it was not like the original 60s. They were looking for a few people with few specialized skill sets outside of your standard intuitive abilities.
So, and just to let everybody know what she's talking about, Stargate Project work primarily involved remote viewing, and this is a real CIA as far as this is a real project. It was declassified in 1995 after a CIA report concluded that it was never useful in any intelligence operation. Of course, they say that. But then, again, they say that all of this was done for however many years. How would they do this thing? The movie The Men That Stare at Goats actually talked about this. So, pretty crazy stuff.
I will tell you the series of the same name and the movie of the same name is about 95% accurate. Outside of the glitz and glam they throw on the Stargate, which you legitimately don't see when it initiates. That was pretty. But and their depiction of the Gould is supposed to be their interpretation of the Anunnaki, which is, dude, they're not like that.
Well, again, Kishara, you've been in the chat for a long time. This is your first time call. I never know who is watching. We could have people that have been involved in. I mean, we have no idea who anybody is. I mean, there could be somebody right next to you that lived through one of the most tremendous, legendary events of the world's lifetime. We don't know. So, Tishara, thank you for sharing your experience. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go? Again, I would love for you to call back in again and talk more about it next time.
I have a lot of stories that are a trip. To everyone out there who's being very patient, listening to my first time call. I want to thank you, and I do want to express my gratitude and appreciation for all of you. And please, unify.
Well, great point. Again, if you would like to write an article about your instances or your experiences, I think that there's a lot of people in the audience that would actually appreciate that. Whether it's pretty hard to kind of substantiate some of this, but I think that if you wrote a long article about your experiences or several, I think people would like that, especially if that's something you're interested into. Get a hold of me on Twitter.
I sent you a message over Twitter.
Okay, please send me a new one so it goes to the top of the list today, and I will look into it right after the show.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. Kishara.
Okay.
Have a good night. Be
Thank
safe.
you.
Be prepared. Would you guys like to read something like that? I think that it would be interesting. And I think that articles would be the best way to, have her have the time she wants to actually put it out there. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that would like to read about that. See, I see it from both sides. Some people might say, oh, this person could be making it up. Very well, she could be. But at the same time, she does sound very convincing. But the thing is we don't know who is around us. You don't know if this was a real project. There has to be real people that were involved in this. So that means there could be people like her all over the place. And there's real operations that made people forget. I mean, people joke about it like it's Will Smith and the button that makes you forget everything. But that's a real thing. They've done lots of experiments with this kind of stuff. They were doing it back in WW2 and WW1. Scary experiments. This one sounds like it's almost more tame. This was remote viewing. This has been in a lot of different movies and a lot of documentaries as far as the subject behind it. And then The Men Who Stare at Goats was based on that true story. So we'll get back into the news, but first, Sammy Lee, thank you so much for your support. Amazing call, says Sammy Lee. Deja Voodoo 22 says, awesome call, thank you. Unicorn Forest, I appreciate you, thank you so much. And then Tower Bear, thank you for your massive support there. It says, check out the movie Clockwork Orange. You'll see the MK in action. Tower Bear, that is a freaky movie. If you haven't seen that one, that's definitely a cult classic to a lot of people. Thricewell, great caller. This floats in my research boat. Oh, this floats my research boat. That's awesome. Whatever floats your boat, right? Grace for you too. That Chowky Gal, Kelly2334, Philly Poo, Project Exodus, Nikki Fire 555, Mary XX, and Top Sirloinus. I love it. Dootsy Bug, thank you. And then we have Doc Bill from Canada says the complete user's manual to coordinate remote viewing. The complete user's manual for coordinate remote viewing on Amazon suggested a book. That's very interesting, Doc Bill. And then Kimberly M. Harris, thank you from Canada as well. Thank you for the America's Top Hat viewers up there. And then we have Christian Moore says, I heard about the V being our fault. The V. Says, wouldn't put it past the sickos, organ donors, unwilling, sad, shout out to my friends, Pudding Pie, Joe, thanks, Marv. No problem, Christian. And yeah, there's a lot of folks that have emailed me about that same subject. Sunlight Suckers says, my homie girl, I miss you. Good to have, to hear your voice. And I'm probably talking about Kishara. And then Audrey's Visual Arts. Marfoogle News never disappoints. Much love and stay safe. And thanks for sharing. Audrey's Visual Arts, I appreciate that. And then Susan Donahue says, keep your vibe high. Dance like it's 1999. Way to go. Hashtag Team Humanity. Man, I actually remember the year 2000, that night, they were playing that everywhere. I was downtown Seattle and just a wee boy 20 years ago, so 14. It was nuts. That was one hell of a New Year's Eve. RE55, thank you for your support. Natasha Porter and Fabian DeFoyne, thank you guys for all following. Got new Foogle fam members, Kelly Stewart, Trevor Breaker, EOD Vet, King Management. Thank you guys. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. If you guys want to support us in a different way, please take a look at EMP Shield that actually can protect against electromagnetic pulse. It will basically ground the signal before it fries your devices. I've talked at length about all of the threats that are out there. This is a company that is not just some Joe Schmo. They're contracted by different companies. They've worked with DHS. They've worked with DOD. They're actually part of the DEMSO team officially protecting the Texas grid. This is no joke. Since they got that contract, we were actually worried they were going to stop doing consumer devices, but they are still doing consumer devices for the time being. Make sure to get yours, marfooglenews.com/EMP. It's 100% American made. It's veteran owned, and it is an amazing product. All right, let's get back into the news. Air Force tests a new anti-drone laser weapon. We've talked about these different kinds of lasers that they are coming out with, and now they're getting more advanced to the point where they can run all by themselves. Here's one problem that I actually got an email about last week, is that this is something that I do not believe is public, is that if it's haywire, these things can accidentally hit the wrong target. I thought that was kind of freaky. In tests, at least, what happened is they put up a UAV and it hit the actual United States UAV instead of the other kinds of drones. So it basically looked at a regular plane and the AI targeted it. There's multiple different kinds of these, and they're talking about putting these everywhere. We're going to see these as civilians in a lot of different places, because drones, just the consumer drones that you have, DJI, Unique, and all these different brands, Typhoon, and all these kind of drone brands, they are flying over things that they're not supposed to. And these lasers are the answer. It says drones are one of the 21st century's most dangerous weapons, and the U.S. Air Force soon may have a new weapon to defend against them. The Air Force earlier this month successfully tested Boeing's Compact Laser Weapon System, or CLWS, which was mounted on top of a small military vehicle and was able to protect a convoy from simulated drone attacks. It says, quote, in a future scenario, an integrated and networked direct energy capability, as demonstrated in this exercise by CLWS, would provide operators with vital information and a means to respond to threats at greater speeds. It says Ron Dock, program manager at Boeing's Laser and Electro-Optical Systems, said in a statement. By the way, I have One of my sisters was dating a gentleman who was directly working on these kinds of projects. He couldn't say much, but what he did say is that he said he would not want to be on the opposite end of the U.S. military. The new stuff that they have, he said, is just mind-blowing. So, he also is the same gentleman who talked to me at length about anti-gravity and how it's not crazy. He's an engineer. He explained it to me, and ever since that day, I've actually thought, wow, this actually does make sense. A lot of people say anti-gravity is crazy and all this, and then on the other hand, you've got people that have said it's existed for years and years. I am more to believe that it's been existing for years. This is something that possibly was reverse engineered from a UFO they found or something. I don't know, but it's pretty crazy technology, and some people at Boeing, I think, know about it. And then it says that the test itself was carried out in Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada, but the CLWS system, Boeing said, transmitted live video and data to operators at Andrews Air Force Base in Maryland. Officials said that the system's ability to connect personnel thousands of miles apart and provide them with real-time information on threats will be crucial capability for the military going forward. One thing I think about, though, is what if you lose that ability? How are these things connecting? How are they sending signals? And is that affected by, say, an EMP or affected by radar jammers or things like this? They also are, what's crazy is how they have not come up with, communications technology, as many as you would think they would, like a new way to communicate that goes through the air other than, these things that are completely dangerous. Everything else has moved forward, but some of the stuff is kind of ancient. I think that they do have those kind of systems and they're not telling us. Anyways, I would love to get your opinion about that. Leave a comment below if you think they have some sort of communication technology that does not rely on power and on our normal systems. And then we have Chinese. Oh, this one is very scary. So we had to kind of prep for this one because this is a huge one. This is what I was talking about with Carlson. This is possibly one of the biggest things that's come out, and it's from the New York Post. So let me just remind you, it is from the New York Post, but it is getting people wiped out from social medias. This is something I just actually lost. A regular family member who does not have followers got their accounts totally taken off of Facebook and Twitter because they posted some of this stuff. So again, it says this who has alleged that CV was made in a lab, released a report on Monday that she says backs up her explosive claim. This person, a former researcher at the Hong Kong School of Public Health, posted a paper on the open access repository website Znote that she claims how this could be, quote, conveniently created in a setting in 6 months. It says the paper, co-authored with 2 others, is titled Unusual Features of the SARS Genome, Suggesting Sophisticated Laboratory Modifications Rather Than Natural Evolution and Delineation of Probable Synthetic Route. Basically saying that this person believes it is not it's not naturally made, that it is completely something that would have had a synthetic route. Trying to be careful here because this one is a big one. It claims to note how this shows biological characteristics that are inconsistent with a naturally occurring zoonotic version. So this is the woman. So Dex, let me pull you in here too. I need you to help me with this because this is a hard one.
This is a really hard one, and obviously this is a person that's alleging these things. We're not saying these things, and this is actually reported. I believe it was the New York Post is where we're reporting this from, right? So and I know that this subject is very, very touchy. So we want to be careful here. I would highly recommend, if you want to know more about it, definitely go read the article. And you can also, we don't normally promote mainstream shows, but she was actually interviewed tonight on Tucker. So, and she went into a lot of this detail, and it was pretty shocking what her claims are. And specifically the claims around whether or not this was an evolutionary type thing or whether or not it was a synthetic type thing.
And it's a big story because if she says what is true, then if this is getting out even on MSM, if this is something that's going to happen on Carlson, then we're going to see a conflict. We're going to see a big one. And maybe that's why Xi is telling his military, hey, get ready for conflict. We're about to go. It's about go time. Maybe that's why experts are saying they're restructuring their military to take us out directly. Maybe it's why they are so pissed off that Australia said, hey, we want a secondary investigation into this, not done by that 3-letter agency. That is, and then, since Australia was the only one that said that, hey, we need a secondary investigation, not by these guys that we don't exactly trust. Hey, can you use these guys? Oh, well, we're going to cut off 85% of your trade because you suggested that. And people can't see the obvious, just like common sense, like, wait, what? Why did you cut off 85% of their trade? Oh, because they suggested doing something that doesn't sound unreasonable whatsoever? Okay.
Adam,
Yes.
the thing I would add here is the flip side of this is you would easily say if this person had this much knowledge and they worked their way out of that country and they were actually in that country when they started this type of conversation and they were getting, a lot of pressure from the power there not to speak, that you wouldn't think that they would make it this far, right? This is a pretty large claim. So to make it this far, and not be silenced when others have been silenced is kind of is potentially an indicator that is this propaganda, right? Is this real or is this propaganda?
Is this getting us angry? Do you know what I mean? Is this getting us angry towards them so we go, yeah, we support this?
Yeah, is this the little white things that we saw in the desert sand that somebody called WMD, right? That was the moment, right? It was like, oh, here's the excuse. Now everybody get angry. We're going to go in and take care of that, right? Is this that moment? And is it being programmed, or is this just legit?
So Just a Cat Mom says, this isn't news, though. This is propaganda to stoke anger at China. That's exactly what we're questioning. Yeah, no, you got it. Is this going to put the red in all of our eyes? Have you noticed that in the past, there's been times where they put red in all of our eyes, and it's psychology 101. I mean, like, it puts everybody on the same page. It doesn't matter what you are, left, right, whatever. Everybody's on the same page about one subject. When you see everybody agreeing on the same thing, that's something that might be a distraction. I almost think, it sounds crazy, but what if the cuties thing? What was crazy is they had tons of memes, and it showed all these people, Democrat this, blah, 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 blah. It showed everybody in agreement about the whole Netflix thing, and it went straight to the top of trending. And because it was something all of us can agree on, I'm actually one of the ones who it distracted me for 3 days. I was so pissed off. I was tweeting everybody. I don't normally do that. But I spent 3 days like responding to people that I don't ever care to even respond to. I was so pissed off about it. I canceled my Netflix, and I'm not going to do it until they take it down. I don't even know how they kept it with so much negative buzz about it. I don't know how they kept it on there. And they said it was a commentary on this and that. Okay, but there's still 4 girls / 300 auditioners that you totally like. It's disgusting.
I don't care if it's a documentary, dude. The camera angles on it alone, and it's
illegal.
Rated MA, so it's only for adults. It's an adult show to look at kids with camera angles, right?
It's disgusting.
I canceled my Netflix too. It's gone.
Why does it help? I have so many shows I like to watch on Netflix, and now I'm like trying to figure out how I can watch them somewhere else if there's ones that aren't Netflix, and it's like I don't want to support them. And again, see, we're getting all heated up again. I just can't stand it. I don't understand how they can do zoom ups of and things, and they're normalizing it. So again, but when things like that happen, I do try to think on the other side too. Wait, why are we all in agreement? It's just weird. Anytime that everybody is in agreement about something, then I'm like, wait, where did this come from? Did they release it on purpose, knowing that everybody would backlash? I mean, they knew the backlash before it even came out. When the poster came out, it's just weird.
They lost like billions of dollars in market value.
I hope they lost more.
$400 million film cost them $9 billion.
Wow, are you serious?
Yeah, it was something like that. But that's just stock market value, so it comes and goes. But in reality, those are people speculating that a lot of people canceled, and they're expecting their revenue to decline. So when the numbers really come out and the next quarter report that they put out, then the stock market will really adjust based on it. So everybody's panicking now, dropping their stock price.
Joseph Mama says their critics love it. Critics love it. Well, that's why critics are pieces of... Anyways, let's move on. Carnival, okay, so this is a long article, and if there's people out there that like to read every bit of the articles on our show, this is a good long read, and it's actually very interesting. Dex, while you're still here, do you want to go over this as far as why this is interesting? This ship potentially spread everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I guess they basically document how one cruise ship caused this spread around. It's not the single only cause, but it was sort of like, let's go through how this one ship went to different places, let people off in different areas, and they all travel back to different locations around the globe, and how they were all exposed in one confined location. And it's a long documentary of the steps and the stages of what happened, but it's pretty interesting when you think about how connected the globe is, just with something like as simple as travel, whether it's an airplane or in this case it's a cruise ship, which then turns into multiple airplane trips, right? And people from all over the country are all confined into one small vessel. Well, it's a big vessel, but in the scheme of something like a virus, it's definitely a small container.
Well, as you know, it's tough right now because so many people are torn what they believe about the original thing. But one thing to think about is that, one, no matter what you think of this, pandemics are a real thing. Viruses are a real thing. The kind of Ebola type things, these things. The next one, which is what keeps bringing me back, it's almost like in the very beginning, when all of this started, I said, all of this is happening and it doesn't seem like the stuff matches up. I was thinking like that nurse that called. What that nurse said is, or his wife is a world nurse. She travels all over the place, and she's a specialist. And she said that they've seen this same thing go around the world and evolve. And they said that they've seen the actual V revolve around the world and get worse and worse every time. So the one thing that I said is that maybe they see ahead. Maybe they see that it will turn into the most deadly thing, not where the numbers are now, right? That next time around, it ends up coming back around and it hits us so hard that we lose 2/3 of our population. Where is this Deagle thing coming from? What if they knew, or what if with science today, they could see that it's 100% going to circle back around and come and wipe all us out? That would, if they did tell us that today, just say they told us that today, it would 100% explain why the measures were so serious. It would explain a lot more of the stuff. But since they can't or won't tell us the truth about it, in my opinion, then it all leaves us here scratching our head. Because when we look at the numbers, even if you look at the cases compared to the mortality rate, a lot of people are frustrated. I'll just say that much. And I see people arguing all day, every day, including our Twitter. When I posted, hey, what do you guys think about this? In Indonesia, they're having people that were not wearing their masks. They're actually punishing them by having them dig the graves of the victims of it. But then people always go back to the fact that if they got, taken out by a weapon and then they tested positive, then that's what they ended up listing it at. There's a lot of weird stuff out there that people, I wish they would just be more, clear on. I hope you guys understand that. It's just, it's really hard right now because obviously all of us are seeing things go down. And I think that this is just the beginning. There's so much more. I think they know something's either coming from space or something is going on. What's your opinion? I'd love to hear it. Give us a call at 2244-00-MARV. If you guys want to support us in a different way, please check out the off-grid bag or the utility bag by EDEC. Once you put your phone or your tablet or your device in here, no signals get in, no signals get out. They cannot track, trace, or do anything with your device. If you are traveling somewhere that, say, you just don't want on record, you can put it in there. Or if you don't want a geofence warrant, which is a real thing, popping up and cops coming to your door because you were at a 7-Eleven and unknowingly were next to somebody who may have committed a horrible crime, then you might want to use one of these. Again, you can go to marfooglenews.com/EDEC. These are the same bags that FBI and other agencies use for evidence bags, so people can't remotely wipe their products off of their phones. If you want to check it out, again, that's marfooglenews.com/EDEC. All right, let's get our next caller, and then we're going to be talking about the birds dropping in dead in New Mexico. And I've actually got a couple things to say about this as well. we have multiple evidences that something is going on. Dex, if you want to let the next caller in, we can do that now. Survival Living, you are live on Marfoogle News.
Hey, what's up, Adam?
What is going on? This is Survival Living, a.k.a. Central Florida Prepper, if you guys know that name a little bit better. What is going on, CFP? How are you doing?
Oh, not much, man. I just want to talk about a couple of things that been popping up around here. One, we're getting a lot of rain from that storm. We got some high winds up today. We're out here outside Panama City, but we are perfectly safe and fine. It's just a lot of water. But the other day I was checking out Ice Age Farmer. I'm not sure if you are aware of his channel or not.
Oh, yeah.
He had run an article, a story on Australia with the rice issue that they have. Their production of rice for the country is down like 50,000 tons compared to 800,000 tons they usually produce. And now that they're having to import rice in from, I believe, Vietnam. And this is just another sign of shortages. I mean, they blamed it because of water allocation for the last 2 years. And they also blamed it on the Charlie Victor rush on the grocery stores. But I just don't see a rush on the grocery store depleting the stockpile of rice in the country.
Are you there, CFP?
I probably lost you. Yeah, sorry, I've got some bad winds here. I'm out in the truck trying to use the phone. But yeah, man, so I've just been working on trying to get people prepared, man. I mean, even just going to the store, getting your normal groceries that you usually buy, your canned goods, your dry goods. And when I say dry goods, rice, beans, pastas, things that last a very long time. We're seeing more and more natural events in America alone, let alone the world, where it's destroying our food source. Look at the rains and stuff we had last year out in the Midwest. I've got a lot of farmers that live out there in the Midwest on my channel, and they're telling me we don't have the stock of food that they keep saying that we had this good year, we had this much this year. They're like, dude, like a third of that's actually correct. So they're playing up the numbers. And you go to the grocery stores, you can see what's missing. You can see the shelves have gotten smaller as far as the length of these shelves. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming around. I mean, there's a lot of conspiratorial information out there. You know, they're CFP, pushing the artificial meat burgers and everything else.
Well, CFP, so we have one really good source in the grocery chains. This person is very high up for one of the three major stores. I'll just say between Safeway, QFC, and Albertsons. They are at one of these stores. They are extremely high up, and they said that they have been basically told within 6 months there will be several products that may not be available at all. So this is something that they are trying to come up with synthetic routes of making. So it's 2020. We're not forecasted to, have anything run out for a long time. What are those products, and why was he pulled and flew across the country for an emergency meeting along with a lot of other grocers? Kind of freaky.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I didn't know you had that particular contact. That's definitely good to have. I talked to some workers and stuff like that. The lower end of the skill set there at these grocery stores. They can only tell you so much. Having that contact is definitely a big key right there. Dude, I don't know. I don't know what to stress even more with people. I mean, they've got to start putting food back. I mean, you can just look at what's going on in the country, just here in America alone, with everything going on with the whole political stuff going on, trying to watch my words, the nice little gatherings that are not very nice. All this stuff setting in motion for something else. And, this does get into the theorist part of my life that I usually don't get involved with on the channel. But it's like we're being set up for something more major. They're allowing things to happen, and there's not enough reaction to these major infractions. It's like they're waiting for it to get so bad that we actually go plead to them, just like happened with the Patriot Act and the Freedom Act. Please give us security. and they're going to write something in. And that's what I'm really worried about. I just did a video. I did a camping trip for 3 days, 3 nights out in the woods by myself. And dude, I needed that vacation. It was great. It was very hot down here. And when I got back home, we got the storm on us, but it was really nice just to get away from everything. And I took my gear with me. I always take my gear out and test it out, make sure it works and everything. And I just want to encourage people, get out there, test that gear. If you're prepping, get out there and start prepping food. It does not take a lot of money to prep every week. Just a few dollars gives you a few extra cans of food, a few extra meals that you can put back. And trust me, I know being on a budget, I've been on a budget most of my life. I understand you can only afford $5 extra. That's $5 extra of canned goods or something that you can eat later. So anyway, man, I am not going to take up a lot of your time. I do want to thank you for taking my call. And I want to thank Dex. He's been working with me the last 2 days because I've been calling in late and I'm missing the slot on that. So he was able to contact me today, let me know that y'all were going live since I'm having problems with my notifications. I did download the DLive app again so I can see when y'all come up. Usually that always notifies me. But I did see EMP Shield in the house, and I definitely want to thank them again for some amazing products. We have one for the truck and we have one for our solar. Definitely love those products, guys. I definitely appreciate those discount codes that they were running, and it really helped us out here with our preparedness.
Can I, by the way, I just noticed something on your channel that I was looking into, the Sandlinky LED light. I was actually going to get this because somebody told me about it, and is that actually good since you have one in your hand?
Yes, I love that thing, man. That's what I took with my camping trip. I just charged up my USB port. It does take about 2 hours to charge that thing up. And it was like $30, I believe it was. It's not waterproof. That's the only downside about it I did not like. But this thing's super bright. I took that thing with me camping. Of course, being a prepper, I took headlamps and everything else just to have something extra.
Can I use your
I love
link
that
here?
light. I really do.
Is it okay if I can use your link, right? Your Amazon
absolutely,
link.
You can.
All right. Well, I will get one through you. I'm glad that I saw that. If I was going to get it, I might as well get it through somebody where it can actually prosper you instead of prospering some sort of third-party website. All right. Well, thank you so much, CFP. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. CFP also, he is real deal. Even a couple years ago now, he sent me a fire starter kit, and it was extremely professional, sealed, all that. I don't know if you still do those, but another thing, like, you're like real deal. So thank you so much for being in the Foogle fam. Thank you for networking with everybody, and everybody that has talked to me about you always say that you're always reaching out to people and helping them. If they have questions, you always answer them. So I really appreciate your hard work and everything you're doing on your channel as well. All right, you have a great night.
All right, you too, Marv. Have a good one.
All right, God bless. Kishara, thank you for the ice creams, and then Durango X Nubaru, and then Kelly2334, thank you so much for supporting us over on DLive. Thank you guys. We are working towards something really great, which brings me over. EMP Shield, thank you. EMP Shield is the only affiliate we actually work with that actually comes by and watches the show. That is why Andrew and others are really cool from that company. They actually watch. They even did a thank you video for the Foogle family because they thought we were the coolest group. They actually work with a lot of these groups, right? They thought we were the coolest groups out of all of them, and they did a thank you video from, I think it was a Christmas video, and had the whole staff say, bless you guys and everything. I just thought it was really cool. EMP Shield says, best news on YouTube. Well, thank you. Again, they actually watch. You don't see that very often. Debadoo, thank you so much for your support. You can always write something there if you want to put something in there. And then Baldylocks Awake says, Jen Lay broke her leg in 2 places. Cast to mid-thigh for 3 months. Please pray. Very painful and difficult. I'm so sorry, Jen Lay Awake. I don't know if you're watching with your cast, but that is really bad. So the cast goes all the way up her leg. Praying for a fast recovery, Baldylocks Awake. And Jen, I hope you feel better right away. Healing hands of God on your leg. I hope it heals fast. Seriously. And then Tammy Johnson, skies in eastern South Dakota are getting hazier every day. Today was a bit more orange. Love you all, Foogle fam. So wow, the smoke is going all the way over to South Dakota. Incredible. And then Marky Sparky and Scott Dixon. Thank you guys. Scott Dixon says, follow the money. All defense contractors are selling off their products to anyone that has money regardless of the country. Look up the word scramble, The Economist magazine cover 2020. All of the answers are there. So he's saying that defense contractors are selling off their products to anyone. You know, these are not the kind of products that usually go to the public. Investor 2001, thank you for following. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. And then Adrian Maldonado, thank you so much for your support tonight. You can always write a message there or put a quote, movie quote, or anything. Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate all of you guys that are here tonight supporting. Let's see here. And then Bell and Poor, thank you. And then Teresa Selby, It's Only Just Begun by the Carpenters. I see that. Karen Will and Feed Reader, thank you for joining the Foogle fam. Welcome to the fam. Orbital, brand new tube, Marf, pretty much zero censorship. Which actually brings me, we're going to go into the next story. Birds are dropping dead in Mexico. I also want to let you guys know I have looked into the brand new tube. It looks like there's a watermark on it or something that says brand new tube. I don't know if that's just on mine. Either way, yeah, of course, I'll be looking into it. It looks like Stephen Banoun from Israeli News Live is the top, kind of one of the top people on there. It says it has zero censorship. I always kind of wait a couple weeks, though. I will definitely try to start and give it a boost, whatever we can do to help. But I'm telling you, it looks a lot like this platform does, and I bet you they're going to either sue them or they're going to show a video that they get sued for. I hope that they can succeed because, man, it would be awesome if there was a restart of this platform. And then we've got birds are dropping dead in New Mexico, potentially in the hundreds of thousands. This is almost biblical as far as birds dropping dead from the sky. That is one of the scariest things I never want to see. We've seen a ton of weird things. And by the way, when I first read this earlier today, my wife was on the porch, and at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, all these birds were going nuts. They were chirping. First of all, that only happens early in the morning. Yeah, that's really the only time we have birds. Out of nowhere, at 4 o'clock, we had thousands of birds chirping and doing these weird things. Maybe it's just a seasonal bird that's coming through, but we made a comment, and then we read this story, and I was thinking, what the heck? What is going on with the world? A lot of people say that they think that the poles are shifting and it's screwing up all of the animals on Earth. And I don't know if they're wrong. We have sharks in the wrong areas. They get around all these whales. Oh, just right now, we have a story just in the last 3 days. Great whites coming extremely close in the wrong areas, totally confused where they are. You've got hammerheads, which actually use they have an internal compass. They use electrical fields to navigate, all screwed up, going the wrong places. Let me show you this real quick before we touch on the birds. Whales took a wrong turn. Look at this. Into infested crocodile waters, into a river. Humpback whales took a wrong turn. Okay, if people don't see something weird here, then I don't know what to say. I fully believe that our actual poles are something is affecting nature. It's affecting our birds. It's affecting our sharks. It's affecting our sea life. And it's not the weather. Just my personal opinion. I think it's the poles. I think it's their natural compass. It's their internals giving them wrong directions over the last 3 or 4 years. And by the way, if you don't know this, the poles are moving faster and faster, and scientists can't even explain what they're doing. They're just they're shifting towards Siberia. And then in Siberia, you have these weird sinkhole things happening. You've got whales, you've got sharks, you've got animals beaching themselves, completely lost. What do you guys think? Somebody says they are shifting. Yeah, well, that is one good thing, is we can say that that's a fact. Ghost Mafia 13, thank you for hosting. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for shifting your audience over here. N95 Hero, it's the magnetic shifting of the poles. I agree with you, N95 Hero. 100% spot on, Marf, says N95 Hero. Baldy Locks awake. Thanks for the prayers for Jen Lay. Of course, absolutely anytime. And then Kelly2334 says N times. Not talking about the really cool Foogle fam member, but talking about the real one. Unfortunately, something's up here. So to go back to the birds here, September 15, 2020, it says wildlife experts in New Mexico say birds in the region are dropping dead in alarming numbers, potentially in the hundreds of thousands. It appears to be an unprecedented and very large number. Martha Desmond, a professor at New Mexico State University's Department of Fish, Wildlife, and Conservation Ecology, told NBC's Albuquerque affiliate KOB. It says New Mexico residents have reported coming upon dead birds on hiking trails, missile ranges, and other locations. Do you love this, that they put in missile ranges? Yeah. Because I'm just gonna go hiking and maybe other locations and missile ranges. Let our news meet, blah, 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 blah. It says, quote, I have no idea, Fisher says in the video, as he pans the camera to reveals what happens to appear to be dozens of birds lying dead on the ground. Desmond said it is difficult to say how many birds are dying, but that there have been reports across the state. I can say it would easily be in the hundreds of thousands of birds. And by the pictures and the videos that are coming out, it is all kinds. It's not a certain kind that is having a disease go through it or this or that. It's all types of birds. It says multiple agencies are investigating the occurrences, including the Bureau of Land Management and White Sands Missile Range, a military testing area. It's kind of funny that it's near a missile range. It says, on the missile range, we might find in a week, get a report of less than half a dozen birds. Trish Butler, a biologist at the range, told KOB, this last week, we've had a couple hundred. So that really got our attention. It's unclear to scientists why the die-off is occurring. The Desmond said it was possible it was caused by a cold front that hit New Mexico last week or by recent droughts. Desmond also told KOB the deaths could be related to the wildfires in the West. There have been some damage to these birds in their lungs. It may have pushed them out early when they weren't ready to migrate. It says the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife said on Twitter that, quote, not much is known about the impacts of smoke and wildfires on birds. Well, I'll tell you this much. Birds in general are a descendant of the dinosaurs according to science, or according to whatever you want to say. They are actually one of the last remaining dinosaur descendants. I think crocodiles were around. I think crocodiles got through that tertiary boundary. But again, you've got the birds lasted through the supposed asteroid. So if the birds could last through an asteroid and the cloud covering all of Earth with a cloud of ash, then I bet you they can pretty much handle really well with fire, especially with smoke, which a lot of them can fly above and out of or outrun. I don't know, though. I'm not an expert. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is from the missile range? I bet you a lot of people are going to go right to that. Or do you think something else is going on? Somebody said, such sad news. I know. Minnesota man says, you bet your ash. Thank you for the dad joke. Leah's not here to do dad jokes, so unfortunately we don't have our resident dad joker. Katie Sago, Bobby Taylor, Linda W., and Hollywood Gamer Guy. Thank you guys for all being here tonight. Vanessa Doe, someone else, and Tina Brown. Thank you for being here. Have Character Now. New names all over the place. Q Trooper, JG, Lila Ward, Tina. What is going on? Bonnie T, Moist F Word, Lindy Kaz. You've been around for a while. Arky Haynes, all new people. Thank you guys. Lisa R. Hall, Jeremy Bullen, and all of the mods like Jstone78. Make sure, I know you guys do a great job of it. Make sure to welcome any new subscribers, any new names that you see. Make sure to welcome to the channel and ask them how they're doing. All right, so as far as the birds and all these other animals, there's mass die-offs happening. There's different places that are tracking this. And the people that I've talked to so far, and I'm waiting back for comment from one of these offices, I am guessing that we have gone up in the last 3 years from what I hear. So I'm going to wait for official terms on that. I'm going to wait for a comment back from these offices to see what the physical numbers are on these die-offs. So I will let you guys know when I get that information. And then we have a robot that can detect if people are wearing masks. Yup, that's right. It says that this robot can detect masks. It says a human-like robot called Pepper can now detect whether people are wearing a mask to help stop the spread of CV. It says Pepper uses cameras to scan the faces of up to 5 people in a group simultaneously in order to check if they're wearing a mask. During the interaction, Pepper displays a green or red circle around the face on its tablet, depending on whether the person is wearing a mask or not. Partners and developers can add other features such as voice interaction to warn people that they are required to wear a mask. It can also alert businesses that people are not wearing masks. It says mask checking is an important feature for business owners as new protocols are in place around Europe that declares mandatory that people wear masks in closed spaces. It can lead to fines for those who do not follow the rules. Again, this is the future. Once this happened, people go, "Oh, this is crazy." Oh, do you remember in the very beginning thinking that we would just lock down for 3 weeks and then it would just be gone? It's almost been a year. And there's no end in sight. People need to organize and know each other and start coming together. I'll just say that much. Jamie Eversole, thank you so much for your great channel. Well, Jamie Eversole, thank you for being here. I do appreciate it, and I don't believe I've met you yet. So thank you so much. Yesterday here in Portland, Oregon bird in driveway dead. It had no outward trauma. So sad. It was beautiful. 13 years and never saw that before. Says Trisha H. in Oregon. There you go. There's an eyewitness to the dead bird. Trisha H. Thank you for your support. Kimberly M. Harris, thank you so much from Canada supporting the show. Merry Christmas 2.0. Repent and be baptized in Jesus' name. Acts 2:37. This is the only way to heaven. Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you, Merry Christmas, and thank you. I wonder why you picked... Did you pick your name at Christmas and then it's Christmas all year round? I love it. Teresa Selsby, again, thank you. Bellenpour and everyone else over there. Kelly2334, thank you. Massive support tonight. Make sure to thank Kelly2334 for being here and for being part of the Foogle fam. Ken M, Truth Be Known, and Winston Breaks. What do you guys think about this? Do you want a robot telling you to wear one? And by the way, I think it is a good attitude to not care if other people are wearing them. Somebody was on Twitter. But I saw one person who was very adamant and does think, hey, don't yell at people for trying to keep people safe. At the same time said, I don't care if you don't wear one. That's great. So they're totally pro mask, pro this, pro that, but they're not going to judge or yell at other people for not. At least this is, they're just doing their own thing. I appreciated that. It's going to be stormy weather. QAnon website shuts down after NJ man identified as operator. QAnon website shuts down after New Jersey man identified as operator. This is, I wonder, wow. Okay, so it says a popular website for posts about the conspiracy group QAnon abruptly shut down after a fact-checking group identified the developer as a New Jersey man. QMap.pub is among the largest websites promoting the QAnon conspiracy, with over 10 million visitors in July, according to web analytics firm SimilarWeb Limited, and served as the primary archive of QAnon's posts. The website aggregates posts by Q, the anonymous figure behind QAnon theory, and the creator of QMap.pub website is known online only as QAppAnon. Okay, but how did they take it down? I don't understand. Even if they fact check it and it's fake, what is the Babylon Bee? What are any of these other things that are fake? Right? You can't have, what if he puts a label on it that says fiction? How can they shut that down? It's become that much of a threat that they shut it down? Are you kidding? Dex, what do you think about this, about the freedom of websites?
Yeah. This is exact. So what they did was they did a lot. So for starters, poor guy, he left a connection to his name somewhere. And what they did was they found the connection to find out who owned it, and then they published his name. They went out of their way to tell everybody, we know this guy. Then they called him. They wanted to interview him. They wanted to do all these things, in the press about, oh, we now know this guy. We know you are the guy who's running that website. And they scared him. And so, as soon as that happened, he shut it down.
Now, how did he? I don't even understand. How did they scare him? They threatened him or said?
I think it was more along the lines of he was doing this and wanting to remain anonymous. He didn't want his name, his personal name, associated with it. And given the whole cancel culture, that these are my assumptions at this point. But the point is, he was ousted as far as who his identity was, and that was enough to within an hour of him being contacted by a major press organization, the site goes down. Now, maybe there's other things that went on. Maybe once they found him, he got other threats and he was like, all right, I'm done. Right. But we won't know, but it's kind of interesting though, to see how this played out. Now it's unfortunate because the guy's a techie and he obviously did something wrong and didn't hide his identity well enough.
I just wondered, because wasn't there a donate button at the top? There was a donate. I'm
sure there was.
And if there was 10 million visitors a day and they were donating to it, what if they said, hey, you're making millions of dollars. We're going to tell everybody you're making so much money or something. I don't know. Why would he do that? I'm just questioning, why would he didn't want to be ousted. He didn't want to be doxxed. So he shut it down. So somebody has some big shoes to fill here, looks like. And then there's QAnon.pub was the first one. So I bet now this is going to get all the traffic.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to oust the guy myself. And I just remember reading a headline or a nugget about that he worked in some sort of IT position. So I can tell you, going back into my days in working in tech, if I was doing a project like this on the side, I definitely wouldn't want it associated with my name, right? And so if it did come out, my real job at the time would have probably been more important than the side gig, even though he may be making bank on the side gig, right? But, that's obviously a pet project of his. He was a fan of, the movement, and he was trying to, organize and put things together, and having his identity brought to the public was something that was probably more than he could handle.
Wow, this is pretty incredible. I do remember one of them had a thing at the top saying, hey, if you want to buy me a beer or something. Was that the QMap.pub, the one that says buy me a beer and donate here? Something like that? Or was that a different one? Huh. Wow. All right, well, I don't think they should have I guess he did it. I guess they didn't shut it down. They just threatened him to where he had to. That's pretty lame. I'm surprised they didn't do it earlier. They must have really done something to figure that out. What do you guys think about this? Do you think he should reopen it? Do you think he should be just say, hey, here's my name and this is what I'm doing? Or there's replacements, so who cares? What do you guys think? I don't know. Speaking of protecting yourself tech-wise, you guys should have a virtual private network. In fact, pretty much everyone should, especially in the Foogle fam. What it does is it puts your IP somewhere else. Your IP address is your actual kind of like your computer's identification. It can put you somewhere else. So if somebody's trying to, say, log all of your information or hack you or anything else, they would have to find your IP. Go again to marfooglenews.com/VPN, and if you use the code Marfoogle, you can get upwards of 70% off on their 3-year plan. It's extremely cheap if you do it that way, and then you're set up. This is so easy. You just turn it on and turn it off. It actually works on up to 6 devices, including phones. You can put this on your kid's phone if they have a cell phone and you don't want them getting into trouble. Put NordVPN on it. Again, there's 24-hour customer service. It's one of the best out there. marfooglenews.com/VPN. A portion of this goes to help the show. So thank you guys so much for your support. All right, let's get our next caller in. It looks like we have another. Is this a first-time caller? Smart Kid, first-time caller. Satellite conflicts. Corona satellite has been declassified. Okay. Let's let her in. Smart Kid. Is this Smart Kid 14?
It is. Hi.
Hi. So we're talking about satellite conflict, and satellite was declassified, and I've got a link here. What are we looking at?
All right. So basically, I had caught something going above our house. Like all of our neighbors were outside just this evening, and it was like a big fiery rocket, and then it just vanished. Like it just stopped. And so we were looking it up, and then someone had said that, well, it could be a satellite fight, I guess.
What?
Up there, I don't know what the word's like, yeah. And then I came across this when I was looking up stuff, and I was like, what the heck? Like, I had to show you because I was like, oh my God, like this is not good. And then if you look further down, there's a certain name that I cannot say that's tied to this, and it makes a lot of sense now.
Vice President Gore? Is that what you're saying?
Nope.
Okay.
It's further.
Okay. I'm going.
Signed by on the second line where your mouse is.
Okay.
Nope, go back up.
Signed by, oh man, I'm going to zoom in on this.
Yep.
No surprise there, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Some of the things out there.
It's the satellite's name is Corona. Like of all the names to name it, why that name?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And then we actually have your channel here as well. Let me pull this up. I should do videos on this type of stuff. If you find this, let's go over to this. We're going to share this link if you guys want to reach this. This is the official CIA website. Let's show you this. Hold on. And then this is Smart Kid 14's channel. So this is, oh my God, not sure what this is flying over. And this is what you saw?
Yeah, that's what, like the video does no justice, and it went by so fast. Like it was so red. My son was like, Mom, what is that?
What
and he's sick,
in the heck?
It literally just vanished. Like, yeah, it was done.
Okay, this is
and
exactly...
somebody said it could be... yeah.
No, this is something else. This is what I'm talking about. That's not even a meteor. What is that?
Nope, it is not. It's not. And there's pictures. So I zoomed into the front of it. There's nothing there. There's no plane. There's no shadow. There's nothing. So I feel like they're trying to distract us, and none of us are actually looking up in the sky to see what's going on.
What in the world is that? So,
See?
what state is this in? I'm sorry, what state is this in again?
I'm in Connecticut. I'm on the East Coast.
Yeah, that's wild. Was there any launches? Like, I don't understand that. And you can see that it looks like there's nothing there.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing, and we literally have nothing over here that we could even launch from. Like, the closest would be Florida. So, yeah, not sure what that is. It's a bit scary.
Well, great video, Smart Kid 14. Again, is there one more thing that you want to go over? We'll have all of the links here so you guys can check it out. It's actually hashtagged Marfoogle. If you guys just type that in, you'll probably find a bunch of those videos as well. Smart Kid 14, is there one more thing you want to say before you go?
Just be prepared. Don't let your guard down. And I love you guys. Thanks for everything.
All right. You have a great night. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf out. All right. For some reason, that's not loading. Again, all the links will be on marfooglenews.com under caller info. This should actually be updated by the end of the show. And then we have another caller here after this. But first, National Guard soldier helps deliver baby on the side of the road. Now, remember, we're going to be talking about scary stuff. And at the end of the show, we at least try to bring you back up. This is a National Guard soldier helps deliver a baby on the side of the road, finds an adoptive family. Wow, that is super cool. It says Tennessee National Guard soldier Sergeant Leanne Roggensack was driving home in the rain on May 27th when she noticed a car in her neighborhood was pulled over with the flashers on. It says a 29-year-old initially drove past as it was around 11 p.m. and she was alone. But she was compelled to turn around and see if the driver needed help. This is the kind of person my friend Jack is. This is the kind of person he showed me to be. I love this. I always turn around if I see somebody pulled over and at least check and see if there is something I can do. And I didn't do that originally. I did that because I had a really good person who I looked up to. Even though he was my same age, he was just such a good guy. The 29-year-old initially drove past, and it was around 11 p.m. It says what Roggensack saw when she pulled over was a new mother standing next to a vehicle still attached via umbilical cord to her newborn son, who was lying on the pavement covered in blood. Immediately, Roggensack retrieved her phone, towels, and an iPhone charger. As a nurse with extensive experience helping mothers and babies, Roggensack knew what to do as she waited for EMTs to arrive. While on the phone with emergency medical services, she used the iPhone charger to tie off the umbilical cord when the mother delivered the placenta. Roggensack wrapped up the newborn in a towel and waited with the mother in the rain. Despite her years of experience as a nurse and a cannon crew member in the Tennessee Army National Guard, Roggensack said she had encountered a situation like that, or had never encountered a situation like that. She was used to having medications, supplies, and other things around to help her in such dire moments, she said. I've never had that kind of adrenaline rush before, Roggensack said. It says, I didn't sleep for 48 hours after that. Roggensack is a soldier in the Tennessee Army National Guard's 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment. Most of her work has been in the field artillery since she enlisted in 2015. And she was the first female cannon crew member. Well, and it says a fellow guardsman was not surprised that Roggensack stepped in to help somebody in need. Just so you know, I'm going to give her a big salute. Salute to you, Miss Roggensack. You are an awesome soldier. All right, then let's get into our next caller. We actually have, looks like a great caller here. Nathaniel, and a link to the V scene intel for the Foogle fam. And it's a link called Wellness Doctor. Nathaniel, you can come in now. Perfect. And then it looks like you are live on Marfoogle News.
How are you doing tonight, Marv?
Good. So what's going on, and what is this link we're looking at? And I'm going to pull it up for the audience here.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. Because there's. Yeah, I won't give the whole thing, but just just a little bit about it. It's an ebook that a friend of mine that actually introduced me to your show had come upon. This is the second time that I've called. The first time that I called, I just wanted prayer sent out for my buddy who had lost his son, and this same man found this ebook that talks about all of the V scenes, and this lady spent over 2.5 years, 2,500 hours compiling over 1,400 published medical studies and references, just going over the whole industry in general and what we're allowing to be given to our children, and if our children really are our future, then this ain't the way to go about it. So I really just wanted to get this out. I started reading it, and I won't lie, I had to stop at a few points because it makes your heart hurt. It does. But I know through your help and the Foogle fam and everyone that we can get this out, so people can understand and the truth can be spread. The truth shouldn't be spread to begin with. Spreading sounds like a bad thing. The truth should be shared. And so, yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted to do.
Well, I want to read this. I do know that one out of my 3 children, and now we've got 4 coming, one out of my 3 did have different things when she was little, and she actually had the most health things happen. So that's just my personal experience. I'm not going to talk past that. Again, I will make sure to link this. And you said that this is a free online book that people can read about these 1,200 studies.
Yes, sir.
Wow, incredible. By Dr. Alan Palmer. We're, again, not related to these guys. Read at your own risk. But, again, if you want to read into this, it looks like there might be some information that might be incredibly interesting. So we're going to link this on our website, marfooglenews.com. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go, Nathaniel? Again, thank you, by the way, and I'm glad we prayed for your friend's son, and I really always sorry to hear that.
Well, thank you. I know he'll appreciate hearing that. Just continue to share the truth. The more that we all learn of these things, the more light that's shed on it, the more love that can be shared. These are dark times, and just the Foogle fam is y'all got a good thing going, and I just appreciate everything. And I'm sure someone in the family will look into this, and it'll help shed that light. So yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, you and Dex and all the mods. Got a lot of love for y'all, and just God bless.
Thank you for not forgetting the mods, and bless you, and have a great night. Be safe, Nathaniel. Be prepared, and Marfa. I've been coughing more since this smoke hit our state than I have in a long time. The show, when it goes to the other screen, sometimes I'm coughing, and then I mute. I sometimes forget to mute, though. So I apologize. Man, that smoke has just hit us like a sack of rocks. Dex, you guys are lucky. You have probably great air quality, right? Georgia usually has pretty good air quality, does it not?
Temperatures are kind of cool now, although we've got all this rain that's heading our way from the hurricane. And by the way, during the show, I got an alert that people are now starting to lose power as that hurricane comes ashore. So they already reported thousands are without power. So I guess that'll grow overnight. So, but let's make sure we're saying some prayers for the folks in the path of that hurricane, as well as those that are still dealing with the effects of the prior hurricane in Louisiana and Texas. So.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. And then you guys, please be careful.
And as well as those that are still dealing with the effects of the prior hurricane in Louisiana and Texas. So,
Laura, of course. Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry about that. What an annoying voice. Okay, not Dex, myself. Okay.
You just freaked me out. I was trying to figure out what happened. I thought something went wrong.
No. I pulled up DLive because I wanted to look and see. It looks like N95 Hero is number 1 tonight so far. Thank you so much for your support, N95 Hero. It's been a pleasure having you here tonight. Either way, I think Gone Girl missed the show, even if she doesn't pop up. I just appreciate you, Gone Girl, Pam, Veteran Steve, who is normally in the chat. I actually just really appreciate some of the people that, now I've gotten to know. I mean, we've literally gotten to know a lot of you just through your chat and through everything else. Kelly2334, thank you so much. Tower Bear, I appreciate you being number 3 right now. Baldy Locks Awake, I'm sorry to hear about Jen. I hope she recovers really fast. Luckily, she'll be able to lay down and watch the show, which I'm just trying to look at it positively. Johnson, thank you so much for being here again. Probably 4th or 5th show in a row. Dudesy Bug, Cries 2797. You've been here almost every night. Thank you. All these names, and I get to see them every night. Veteran Steve is here. Look at that. Sammy Lee, Nana Deborah, Project Exodus, Bold the Coffee. Thank you guys for all being on there. And let's see here. We've got 2.5 thousand watching over there, and then I thought it was at something near 4,000 over on YouTube. So thank you everyone who has shown up on either platform. Dex, there was something that you wanted to add to the end of the show?
Oh, there was?
Just messing
Absolutely, Adam, there was. No, there's a lot going on. There's so many different things that we're looking at that it can make your head spin. And everybody needs to sort of take a break and take a deep breath and don't get too wrapped up, just like we did over, cuties or the next thing. It's, make sure we're taking all of this, in stride, not letting ourselves get too wound from bouncing to topic here. All right. Remember, a lot of this stuff is coming at us and somebody's making it happen. So they've got an agenda.
Exactly. And remember, don't get too angry just because somebody tells you to get angry. Johnson, thank you so much for the Ninjagini. Says, a heart full of love and the truth in his voice. Store his words and wisdom in your heart. That is awesome. And then here is because of you, Dex and Mods do. It says N95 Hero. Thank you so much for supporting us. And then Enchanted Bayou. It's been a minute to see you. Thank you, Mods. Kelly2334. I was going to say to that last caller, thank you for remembering to thank the mods. They keep it a positive and awesome area. Chance Paladin, April Osborne. We've got Jstone78, CJ Blaze, WV, all the folks that sit and end up doing that. Smoky Mountain Gal. There's all sorts of awesome people here. So thank you. All right. Without further ado, it is officially time for a shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. Thank you for being here tonight. We have plenty of awesome people. R. McGrath, Veteran Steve, MS, Girl, I Love You Forever, Sure Reality, and all for him. Griffith, Kenny Risner, Sandra says go to Amazon and buy a few of those room-size air purifiers. They work pretty well and not a bad price for your house. Adam, much love. Got the channel jam, I gotta bring it right back. YouTube, SUCK, and the socks, and they'll bring it back down, and you know that we like that. WV and the rest of an Outback. Hey, and the Geo Huff, Red 1967, getting it up, and the Doug, and the El Michelle's, Kid 14, and the Risha Green. I gotta bring it right back, and you know we mean the best. Get my news from Marfoogle. I 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 get my Cherokee moon got everybody on this like, oh swoon, oh I'm about to do it like Northwest rigging, and I'm gonna do it all real soon. April Sappho gotta go down. April Sappho gotta go down. John's vlogs. Thanks for your support and that John. Miss Nutsag 909 and go to DuckDuckGo, type Skynet 5A. This is the first website. N95 hero. N95 hero. N95 hero. N95 hero. luckiest followers tonight. N95 Hero with number 1. Number 2 is Channel Jammer. 3 is Chance Paladin. 4 is Tall Drink of Water. And 5 is Merso One. I get my news from Marfoogle. 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 I get my news from Marfoogle.
Morpheus strong like the JoJo. 1, 2, 3, check a Y and that Johnny Doom. Veteran Steve and it's so bizarre. Me and Scott Dixon and Razar are gonna be just a cat mom, just like a cat mom. Gonna bring it back like I'm just like a fat mom. Hey, and a bad dad, that Chowky gal and Mrs. Man. And hey, Stormy73, thank you for being here with all Apollo 9 too. I get my news from Marfoogle. 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 I get my news from Marfoogle.
Go bring go back, go do just like that. I'm about to be back there, I'm lit like I'm about to bring back, oh yeah, love. I like it, gonna bring it back down, do it every day now. Hey, Durango X never will. Gotta bring it back like the Brady. Gotta do it on the West West daily. And non-stick, gonna house it. If there is a line, I'm causing it. Hey, brutal legend, more cowbell. Uh-oh.
Oh, there it is.
I'm gonna go rock with the Johnny Doom. Gotta go back and we all love you. Gonna do it just like this. Oh, that's what's been wrong the whole night. Gonna do it all day and all night. I'm gonna go back and you know right. And Stormy 7572, I've gotta go back with the woo.
Gotta bring that Ronnie on the turns. Gotta go like Dixie on dope burns. Water shop in the October. Rock hell and then nobody cares. That there's life on the Venus moon. Honey and Maya and everybody swoon. General Moss and the rest go back. And they all love it like they had bobbing on the tap.
I get my news from Marfoogle. 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 I get my news from Marfoogle.
Gotta bring it back one more, mama. Militia 84, I will report on the dawn. I'm about to go back like I did it like this and I did it like that with the Owen Dawn. Get a limp on and I bring it on strong, just like the N95 hero. Heroes are everywhere. Heroes are everywhere. Heroes are everywhere. N95 hero is here. 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 My hubs is healing. I'm sealing. Dev Bear B is everybody on peeling. Just like a suntan. Hey ho, mo man. Global impact, gentle moss. It's all freestyle and I give it a toss. Like all Apollo 9 and the Johnny Doom. One Aunt B and everybody do what they want to do with the orbital. Hey there, I love Jesus forever. Gonna bring it back now and Trevor and Priscilla and the Army Hill and everybody Hey, getting real clever. N95 hero is here. Heroes are everywhere. N95 hero is here. Heroes are everywhere. I like it just like Doug and Johnson. Gotta bring it like men. Oh yeah. And Mr. Joe Snow, Tara Belay, and Primoro. Hey, Jimmy the Lip, I hope you're good. Costair, I hope you're in the hood. I hope love's God's plan, and Mr. E is a man. Hey, Crystal Pool and everybody cool. Gotta do what we do best. Gotta prep, pray, pep up, kitty monkey, and everybody gets up. I like it Johnson. Oh, I like it Johnson. Oh, I like it Johnson. Oh, gotta bring it back like a Jenna Moss. Peaceful waters and everybody on. Bright night, Scott Dixon, peaceful water, Johnny Doom, Tara Belay, and Kelly 234. Ha, gotta be it like more. Hey, on the top 10, gotta bring it back, gotta do it now. Gotta ditsy bug, gotta cry like a 2797 Project Exodus and a Nano Deborah and everybody next and a oh, gotta bring it on down. Gotta do it like Nana Deborah now. Oh yeah, like Tower Bear. Oh yeah, we all care. I like Sun for you, cause he says, Dex, I appreciate you. Kelly 333, 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 Peaceful Waters and Mr. Peaceful World News, and everybody really wanna go this way. Richard Bell Sr. and they got to sway. Left to right, or left to right, or right to left, or left to right. Kelly 233, Kelly 233, Kelly 233, do you want some more? Kelly 233, do you want some more? Kelly 233, Dylan Barnes, hello. Apocalypse Rounds. Kelly 233, Kelly 233, ah, Why do we care? Tower Bear, gonna go somewhere. Why do we care? Tower Bear, wish we could go somewhere. Why do we care? Tower Bear, I wish we could go somewhere. Why do we care? Tower Bear, I wish we could go somewhere. Why do we care? Tower Bear? What happened?
I think it's time for loving. I was going down in the down there. We've got to be the saved by grace of Bradley. I'm gonna do it back, and you know that Haley. I'm doing it just like we did now. Seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window. Seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window. Seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window. Seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window. Seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Marfoogle News, where are you? Only use and yes, I'm talking to you. Some for you and Johnny Doom, Bradley and the Cali Bear. Gonna bring it like a cowgirl in the sand. Yes, I demand, man. By the way, guys, if we host, we're hosting somebody random. We're trying to pick random people and spread the love around. So make sure to show some love and be kind and rewind if you're a part of the last Blackbuster. I think it's in Oregon or Australia. I don't know. Have a good night, guys. Make sure to be safe. Be prepared. And I think I know the rest. Samantha Boyd, what if the masks are so that they can train their AI to recognize us by other characteristics besides facial? For example, our gait, body type, and hair. I don't know. I think that's kind of making sense. Have a good night. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marv out.